Wow, I don't have anything to eat.
Holy shit. What? Really?
Oh boy. Oh, this could be fun. I did eat prior though. I did eat prior.
Nothing to eat. This is probably a first, actually. I think this is
The
the
first
first
since the first Tom show.
since the first Tom show that you haven't eaten anything else.
They found the face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake roll. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he shit out of.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Please say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Hello. It is National Chocolate Eclair Day,
National Chocolate Eclair Day. We have that here, so happy National Chocolate Eclair Day.
as opposed to those eclairs that have no chocolate on them. And what's the point?
I don't know. I'm going to join you, though. I actually have one right here, too.
Nice.
Cheers. Happy
Cheers.
National Chocolate Eclair Day.
I actually have 5 of them here.
I'm just eating one.
I don't think they're going to make it through the show. The great thing about
What's that?
you start from this side. If you start from this side, it all shoots out that way. So, so anybody who's never eaten an eclair, make sure you. Otherwise, it looks kind of gross.
That can be said about a lot of things, but that's besides the point.
Let's say, I think sex is a pain in the ass. You're still doing it wrong.
Yep. This is true. Well, mine was very sloppy, so I got myself a wet nap to clean up afterwards.
A wet nap.
Nothing like a good wet nap.
That's a very short wet. It's a very short wet dream.
Wet nap, right? Exactly. they're very few and far between, but when they happen,
Oh
boy.
yeah.
Here we go.
So it's
it was a homemade wet nap. I actually took a paper towel and wet it. So there you go.
leaving that one alone. So it's also National Onion Ring Day. I don't have onion rings because I'm not a big fan of onions.
It's also
Where did Tom go day? Oh no, we haven't introduced him yet. That's right.
Yeah.
It's also No Panty Day.
no panty day.
Not wearing panties. Good.
You're not wearing panties. I hope you're not wearing panties.
What's it? I just don't know
Check your
why.
pants.
I don't know why it's singular. I've never heard.
I think I did a little after we talked before, and we were trying to figure that out. I did a little research. I think what they're trying to say is, or what they're alluding to, is the fact that if you're wearing them and it's a pair of panties, but if you're referring to an item like it's National No Panties Day means don't wear panties. National No Panty Day means there aren't those. You know what I mean?
No.
It's a singular item. It's not what you're wearing. It was very convoluted, but that's what I got out of it. So
It makes no sense.
I know, but whatever.
But I'm not wearing panties.
Well, that's a good thing. Well, happy National Davis Not Wearing Panties Day.
Yeah. Let's introduce a guest before I finish my eclairs.
Why do we do that? Let's turn this off and turn this on. Let's welcome to the show for the third time. This is the first time we're having a guest on for the third time.
Intentionally.
Intentionally. Intentionally. Oh, actually, it's not true. We've actually had Matt on 3 times intentionally.
Oh, this is true.
This is true. This is true. We have had Matt on intentionally 3 times.
But not solo guests 3 times.
Not solo guest-wise. This is the first time a 3-timer right here. So you are honored, sir. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Beer Whisperer, Mr. Tom Mulvihill. How the hell are you?
Hey, I'm here. I'm like the Alec Baldwin of your show, right? I keep showing up.
There you go. There you go. That's your and there's your moniker right there. Tom Mulvihill, the Beer Whisperer, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all-around good guy. There you go.
Now been on the show.
Thanks. Just ask me, I'll tell you.
So we got a couple of comments already. Let's see what they are. Brian, of course, says, cheers, dudes. No chocolate eclairs here. Send some over. Dave, you're closer to him and you have extra. Send them over, will you?
This is not going to be extra very long.
And Brian said no panties either. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I don't have any extras of those. Sorry.
And Matt said boom right there. So
Boom.
I'm assuming he meant boom with the whole Matt was on 3 times thing. I'm assuming that's what it meant.
There we go.
There you go.
He was on thrice.
Thrice. Yes.
So, well, Tom's already open because Tom was thirsty waiting for.
Tom was thirsty waiting for us.
Waiting for the technical issues.
Major, yes, folks. Those of you watching live, we are sorry, but there were technical issues beyond our control, and it involved all three of us this time, not just one. So
Yeah.
we apologize. So, in any event, we are here now, and we're going to start drinking. Dave, why don't you open your beer?
And in any event, there is a certain technological company that's named after a fruit that can just suck it.
This is true. We've decided that. We've decided that at the moment, that particular fruit that grows on trees is really acting up and a real big pain in the rear end.
It has something to do with Isaac Newton.
Something like
So-
that.
So, but Tom, you've opened up already. What are you drinking? Common Sand?
Yeah, it's called Lemon
Sandy.
Sand. It's a really new one from Mother's Brewing from right here in Springfield. It is a summer beer, right? It is a lemon lager.
A lemon lager.
Oh, so it's almost like a shandy.
Yeah, but it's not a shandy, but yeah, it's a similar flavor. But it's 5%, so I mean we're full strength beer here.
That is a great logo on that glass.
Yeah, it's a great glass. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
Very nice.
So he's got a lager going, and this is the lager room, guys. So
Yes.
I'm going to actually open a lager for a change. In this
Please
case, a Pilsner.
Go for it.
And this is a Pilsner from New Zealand,
hmm
named after an extinct bird. I think it's extinct. I don't know. We have a resident biologist, photographer,
can you let us know, please?
ornithologist.
Is the
Here.
method?
And it'd be
Method.
method from Moa.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that is a beautiful, beautiful nose feel. We didn't use that in a while.
We haven't used that in a while, and his birthday was yesterday, so
Was it?
yeah.
Happy birthday, nose feel.
Happy birthday, Nosefeel.
Oh, that's lovely. I poured it's very active. This
You
wasn't.
poured the hell out of that one, yeah.
It wasn't quite a Liz. The end result was, but not for the same reasons.
Yeah.
This beer is quite active. It's supposed to be a.
Correct. Moa is an extinct bird. There you go.
It's supposed to be what you call it, a German style Pilsner.
Is the method or methody? Is that
Oh,
that is not an extinct bird?
no, that is a pretty beer. It's I mean the florality of the hops really
Wow, florality. Oh my God! Put that in your milieu.
yeah. Don't think that's a word, but
Florality. I like that. There you go. All right, I will open mine. I'm going to have from Richmond, Virginia. I'm drinking a Ragna, which is a Orania. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but it's spelled like Ragna, so I'm going to say Ragna. It's a 6% New England IPA from Vasson Brewing.
Vlasic.
Not Vlasic. That's a pickle company. Vasson. That's it. It's not a pickle beer. It's a New England IPA.
And when you drink it, and if it's really good, you got to go Ragnaroks.
Ragnaroks.
Sorry.
Well, I'm pouring it, and I'm not Liz pouring. I'm making sure that I don't Liz pour it, so I'm taking extra care. What? And what?
And we got an NEIPA. Now you got this from Virginia.
This is from Richmond, Virginia, directly from Richmond, Virginia. Yes, do not pass go. Do not collect $500.
Oh, there's some great breweries down there. Aslan's down there. The Answer's down there.
I'm gonna take my cursory lager room shot.
Oh, I forgot to do that.
There we go. All right. Let's see. Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
It's pretty pour. It's pretty color. Pretty.
That is a pretty pour.
Very nice. Oh, hell of a nose feel. Really.
Elvin, let's feel. Also, getting amongst the florals, there's also lemon in this.
Oh wow,
Oh,
Ragnaroks.
Ragnaroks.
Ragnaroks. That's a good beer. That's a pretty beer. Nice. Cool. All right. Tom is either perennially cheersing or he's frozen. I'm not quite sure which it is.
Well, he just updated his Wi-Fi.
But I like the picture. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that.
Oh, he's
there he is.
reloading.
He's back
There he
now.
is.
Damn it! I missed it. I'll have to go back. He's back. Hi, Tom.
Yeah, you froze on us for a little bit.
You were, yeah. We got another comment here. Matt said, "Moas are a group of flightless birds."
Comprising.
Thank you for the Potensky speak. Comprising at least 9 species that went extinct in New Zealand. The largest was approximately 12 feet tall and up to 500 pounds.
Wow, that's bigger than Matt.
Not quite, but
Yeah, well,
not much bigger, I should say.
not much bigger.
But bigger, yeah. And yeah, he did say comprising. There you go. But I like compriring. Compriring. But anyway, so cool. Well, that solves the beer stuff. So I'm going to turn this off and let's drink and talk. So how the hell is Missouri there, Tom?
We are nice, actually. We've been insanely hot the last week or so, but now I've got this beautiful, about 75-degree day. So I'm out in my pub area, which is, y'all know, is my garage. But yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Very nice.
Yeah, we've experienced the same thing. A lot of heat here.
Oh,
had some rains come through. It's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow.
It's supposed to be a gorgeous day tomorrow. It's been really soupy the last several days. It's been nuts. It's been super thick.
When I walked from Port Authority to work yesterday, I described it as like walking through broth.
There you go. You walk through broth.
Not quite thick enough to be soup, but it was definitely.
It was that's crazy because in New York I would imagine it would have been more soupy than broth, but I can see the broth thing. That's
well, like I said, what is it? I think I've said it before. Letterman once said, "New York, the city whose streets make its own gravy."
There you go. I just saw a meme actually before. It said, "People in other states hear from New Yorkers that New York has the best bagels because the water in New York is the best." And then below it was a picture of water laying in the streets. It's water in New York. So,
it is. And a lot of their water comes from Jersey, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Doug Smith said, "Tom, how many in already?" And he's cheersing you a bunch of times. And then he said, "Try to stay sober, Tom. Prost." So
good old Douglas.
There you go.
He's one of my haters, actually. He's put that up there to make fun of my style, as it were.
Is that
is he baiting you?
Yeah. He's making it sound like I drink a lot and I drink often, but I'm probably nowhere near his league, the truth be told.
Well, there you go. Well, then you've said it. There you go. It's on record.
And all three of us before the show already said that we're not getting crazy tonight.
We are not. This is not going to be. This is not going to be atypical, as you heard in the intro, and that's why we use that intro for today. This is not going to be a typical Tom show.
No, I got to be at work at 6 in the morning.
Tom's got to be at work at 6 in the morning. That's 7 a.m. to us, but
yeah. And I'm going to the beach, and as everybody knows, sitting under the hot sun exposed in the sand with a hangover
is always fun.
Ideal.
Always fun. Absolutely.
Ideal.
Yeah,
I could tell you a couple of stories about hangovers and drinking on the beach. But yeah, it wasn't fun, but I'm not going to do them right here. So they're interesting, but not for this. Anyway, cool. Well, are there any new breweries since we last talked? Pop open in Missouri? Anything to report?
Well, not yet. We got one coming this fall called Wire Road, and I'm really excited about this one because Stromy, one of my favorite breweries in town, their current head brewer Andy is going to be the head brewer at that new brewery, Wire Road. So I'm very excited to see him in that different capacity.
That's cool.
This guy really is an amazing brewer. And this will be a larger brewing system for him. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do over there.
Gotcha. How big a brew house they putting in? Do you know?
I don't know exactly. In all honesty, I don't know the details, but it's going to be larger. So Stromy is basically a home brew shop that brews beer, but they're brewing 10 gallons at a time. So almost everything you're going to get at Stromy Brewing is going to be a one-off. So sure. any of my friends that come from out of town, I always direct them to Stromy. But now he's going to this new brewery, Wire Road, where it's going to be a much larger capacity for it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be at that point, it could be a 2-barrel system, and it's a larger capacity for him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know,
I think it's a 10-barrel, but don't quote me. I'm not exactly sure.
Right. That's interesting. Cool. That's great. Yeah, you get somebody that's dialing in recipes on a 10-gallon system. They're gonna be awesome. Because, well, there's not a lot of room to.
Well, there's also the scaling issue. So as long as you can scale up.
Well, yeah, of course. But that's for him to do, and hopefully he will. And we expect a full report back on the next Tom show. Absolutely.
As soon as they open, man.
There you go.
Now, the other thing is we're seeing a lot of states completely open up. Like John and I were talking before the show, he's wearing the Tilted Barn hat. Tilted Barn, because of COVID, you had to make a reservation so they could keep the crowds down. Massachusetts used to have to order food because, of course, ordering food while drinking beer kept the virus away. but they've dropped that silliness now. How's Missouri? Have they opened up? They still any restrictions?
Yeah, no, we're the Wild West here, Southwest Missouri. I mean, certain parts of Missouri are still requiring masks, but here in Southwest, hey man, we are deep red right here. We are the Wild West. They're not afraid of any virus out here. And as the case numbers go up, I mean, if you look at the national numbers, Missouri is looking terrible, and the region that I live in is a current hot zone.
Oh,
but no, don't wear masks out here. They don't need that.
I just came from talk about the Wild West. I just came from Texas last week. Was down there, and yet no masks. I was actually surprised that the servers were wearing masks.
I thought that they opened up completely. I thought that they were just
they did. They dropped all mask requirements, but I don't know. Well, I thought they had.
It's probably the same. You know what? It's probably the same thing as Well, that is in New Jersey right now, or whatever. They're given the independent places, the establishments, the ability to say, hey, you know what, we still want to wear masks, or we not necessarily require you to wear one, but we're going to wear one.
Right.
So, they dropped everything in Jersey, but still walk in the ShopRite, and every single employee of ShopRite is wearing masks, and and a lot of other stores too, stuff like that. It was
weird walking around, being in Texas, because if you're wearing a mask and you're a patron, the other patrons are looking at you funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started. I mean, of course, I landed. First thing I did is I went to an In-N-Out burger, because you got to, and then from there right to a brewery. And as I got out of the car to go into the brewery, I had my mask on, and everyone was looking at me funny. I got into the brewery and I asked them about it, and they said, yeah, there's no mask requirement. So I took it off, and other than every now and then go into establishment here or there, or the airport, I was maskless in Texas.
There you go.
So
you didn't have your Lone Ranger thing on.
No, I was not. No one called me Tonto. He did. Well, he didn't wear a mask. He just had all the eye makeup.
Well, so you didn't have your loincloth on, is what you're saying. You didn't wear that.
It was
no panties day, so you couldn't wear the loincloth.
Panties. Yep, no panties either. So.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, there you have it. So how was the trip? On that note, we didn't really talk about that last week, even though we delayed the show 2 days for you. We didn't really talk about that.
Yeah, and we had a guest from Texas.
So
well, he's from Houston, which is close enough.
Right.
He talked to the rest of Texas.
601.
Houston's something else.
Right. Exactly.
It's a whole different world over in Houston.
Yeah, Houston, Austin, and Dallas are 3 very different cities.
Yes, they are. But I was in Plano, just north of Dallas. The first brewery I went to, Odd Muse, pretty good stuff. They're relatively newish, so they're still dialing in.
Newish.
I forget exactly how long they've been open, but
newish goes on the file it away with nose feel and floridity.
Florality.
I like floridity too.
Floridity is also ignoring all kinds of COVID restrictions.
Right.
Floridity.
That's the idity when you're in Florida. Floridity.
The idiocy when you're in Florida. So Odd Muse was good. There's a couple of brew pubs in the area. Urban Bear, and you've heard me say this before about a brew pub. The food was great. Food was really good.
I went to this great brew pub the other day. Food was awesome. Anything else to say?
Nope.
Well, I paid my bill and I left. There you go.
No, I had a barbecued quail. It was really good.
Barbecued quail. They pull the feathers off?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Good.
Sometimes
you never know.
Weird cuisine,
There was no bird shot left in it.
No, none. No buckshot.
Buckshot would have blown the thing up.
Buckshot in a bird. You got a couple feathers left. That's about it.
Look, I got a quail donut.
I gotta love it. Anyway, on that note,
there's another one that wasn't all that great, but then I went to this one place, and hopefully we'll get that was that Lone Star Taps and Caps.
Lone Star Taps and Caps. Yes, he wants to. What's his name? Rick, and I've got to reach out to him. I never got around to it today, so we're gonna have him keep an eye out. He'll be on the show from Lone Star Taps and Craps. Hope it's not Taps and Craps. Well, unless they play dice.
No,
that's
possible. They had some great beer there.
Awesome, cool.
So speaking of Vlasic earlier, I brought back a beer from Texas.
Okay.
It was a pickle beer.
Okay, from Vlasic.
Yeah, it wasn't Vlasic. I forget the name of the brewery.
So then you were getting excited when I said Vlasin because you thought
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Vlasic. It's not Vlasin, it's just Vasin.
You poured the thing. You poured the thing, and it was you just got a huge whip of garlic.
Gotcha.
Wow.
There's umlauts over the A as well. So would it be Vasin? Vossen.
Vossen.
Vossen. So there you go.
Vossen, as in Vos deferens.
Let's not go there. With the whole new panties thing, it's going to be a very difficult thing to talk about. Anyway, so 3, 2, 1, back from the tangent. Here we go.
Yes.
What you call it? I got something to bring up. And Dave and I were talking about this before. He had never been there. I've been there. Not sure if you have. Tom, have you heard the news about Falling Rock Tap Room in Denver?
Oh, yeah, I've never been there, but I saw that post. Yeah.
Yeah. They're. I mean, it's 24 years. 24 years in the business. He faced a lot of crap though. Whatchamacallit? He's not closing just because of COVID. It was a factor, but there's been a 54-week ongoing project on Blake Street, which is right near Coors Field in Denver, in Lodo, and whatchamacallit? It's cut his business by 30%.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a shame. And I mean, they've been like since '01. They started with the whole countdown to GABF. I mean, you go out there that whole week. GABF starts, as people that have been, they know. People that haven't been, there's 5 sessions for GABF. There's a Thursday night and then 2 on Friday, 2 Saturday, or maybe it's 1 Saturday. I think it's 2. But anyway, so it's a 3-day event. But they'll start Monday with pre-gaming, if you will. But intro to you get out there and you just party all week at Falling Rock, and it's been a huge staple, especially for all the Great American Beer Festivals out in Denver. And then they do a lot of other things too. I mean, they've had Sour Fests, they've had what else? A couple things actually. I'm looking for it right here. I have a list here. Here we go. They've had Sour Fest. They do every year. They do the Pliny the Younger. They do a tap.
Oh, really?
Younger, yep. They do a Fresh Hop Festival. They do Dane Bramage Week.
Dane Bramage, not
Dane
Drain Damage.
Not brain damage. Dane Bramage. They did.
And not Drain Damage.
Not drain damage. No. Well, that's what happens. That's drain damage is what happens the morning after Dane Bramage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So exactly, but. Yeah, they've been around for a long time. It's a huge staple. I mean, it basically helped build the craft beer scene in Denver. It really did, and it's a shame. But yeah, they're closing up shop this Sunday is their last day of operations. That's it.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
I hate to hear places like that go under.
Yeah. Well, it was like a couple of years ago, and it wasn't because of anything like that. He was just done. But a couple of years ago, Dave, you and I went to the Muggs Ale House on Bedford Ave in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Was his last day, and we were there. So we were there for Ed. So that was a good thing. But yeah, he was just done. 27 years at that point. He's like, he looked at me that day. He's like, John, I had enough. I'm done. Because he lived all the way out on Long Island, so he was commuting every day. It was just insane. But love to get him on the show though. Once, I mean, he's not in it anymore, but he's definitely got some stories for 27 years.
Sure, he does.
House, so that'd been awesome. But yeah, anyway. So what's your thoughts on that, Tom? What like not just specifically bars closing because of whatever reason COVID related or whatnot, but just specifically Falling Rock. I know you haven't been there, but you know the history, the story of it. But
John, I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm just getting a lot of distorted.
Say again.
There we go. Yeah.
He said he's having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, it was coming out distorted for some reason. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
That's odd.
Now I can hear you perfect.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's funny because since you dropped and came back on, your video's not jittery anymore. Your audio's better, and then John's distorted.
Yeah.
So what was the question, Johnny?
My question to you was, what's your take on that? Not just businesses closing or bars closing necessarily because of COVID or whatever reason at that point, but specifically a bar like this, of this magnitude in the industry, Falling Rock.
Of course, it's a big hit. I mean, anytime an iconic place anywhere shuts down, I think it affects the complete market, don't you? I mean,
absolutely.
it shakes everybody up because it lets everybody know that everybody's vulnerable. You know, not just the big guys, not just the little guys, but everybody is vulnerable.
Yeah, you would think that a bar like that. I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like they're this corporate company that can absorb a lot of shit, and then they have locations in, like, you know, 12 states and, you know, 24 locations. I mean, it is still a small business per se, but the size of it is not just, you know, the size of the building they were in, mind you, but just the size of it, their persona, you know, what they were, what they've done for the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes one variable can knock you off track, but in this case, I watched that video, and there were several things happening almost simultaneously that was just too much to overcome.
It was horrible, but you know what? We wish them all the best, and let's hope I'm sure he'll land on his feet. You know, and it's Chris Black is his name, by the way, the founder. But they're a block away from Coors Field, so that's a big pregame spot for Rockies games, pregame and postgame. You know, so that's gone now. So, and I got to tell you, one of my favorite dive bars in Denver, which is 1.5, 2 blocks away from, I think it was 2 blocks away from Coors Field, was El Chapultepec. And they closed specifically.
God bless you. What?
Thank you. El Chapultepec.
Easy for you to say.
El Chapultepec. There you go. That was the whatchamacallit, that was the name of it. But yeah, awesome little dive bar, cool bands, great drinks, just a hole basically, about 2 blocks from Coors Field. It was a great, really cool place, and they bagged up specifically because of COVID last year. But yeah, that's 2 bars within 2 blocks of Coors Field down. So, and that sucks. But anybody, anybody listening, if there is anybody listening out there from the Colorado Let's Talk Craft Beer group, which I know 2 of us are members of. Dave, are you in that? Are you in Colorado?
I don't think I've been approved yet.
Well, I would get on Steve and find out why. But,
I will.
But yeah, let us know your.
I'm in Colorado.
You're in Colorado, yeah. Let us know your take on it as well. Let us know your take on Falling Rock. And you know what? Anybody rewatching this after we're done, you know, with the live show, and anybody listening to this on the audio podcast, write in. We really want to know, because we want to talk about this. This isn't, you know, just something to gloss over in one show. Write in and let us know your feelings. Let us know how you feel about Falling Rock closing. Because it's something to be talked about. It's something we'll put up an article. We'll bring it back up on a future show or what have you. So let us know. Cool. Or not so cool, I should say. On that note, though, on those groups, Tom, you're in Colorado. Let's Talk Craft Beer. With Dave and I. You're also in Beer Drinkers United. You're an admin in Beer Drinkers United.
I am, yeah. I've been admin in that group for, gosh, I don't know how long, probably about a decade.
Yeah, that's a big group.
I was going to guess about 87 years.
87. No, it was 86 last time we checked, Dave. 86.
Back in 09, and they made me an admin back in 11. So.
Folks, that would be 1909 he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then of course we just got together with talking to Jeff Allworth, and we're in Beervana, the blog, that group posted today. You're in that as well.
I am.
We talked to Jeff earlier, and at some point we're going to get him on the show as well. So that'll be an interesting show as well. But specifically speaking of the Facebook groups about craft beer, the bigger ones, you know, there's a lot of smaller ones. They're really cool, and obviously the smaller ones are hyper local and stuff like that, and postings in that. But the bigger ones. How do you find a lot of the group discussions? What's your take on a lot of the, like I said, from the bigger ones? What do you think you think they're, heading in the right direction? It's not just, stroking some particular brewery or breweries. It's an actual, worthwhile discussions as far as the industry go.
I think it's a hit and a miss per group, in all honesty. I mean, I've been in some groups where you do have honest beer discussions. You've got people that actually know beer in these groups. And then you've got certain groups that have people that think they know beer, right? You've got
Plenty of those.
I had an actual discussion with somebody where I've been drinking beer for 3 years. I know what I'm talking about. Well, excuse the hell out of me, Sonny. I'm going to walk in the other room now. I think it just depends per group. And I would like to, something was brought up a while back about, misogyny in a lot of these beer groups. I think a lot of them have chosen these beer groups to just act juvenile and post these infantile pictures, just like you're in the locker room back in high school or maybe college. But I think at our age, I think we ought to be past that, man, and start acting like decent human beings.
Never join the New Jersey group then.
Yeah, you want to kind of.
What I'm saying is, a lot of these
and we say that with all the love in the world for everybody from the New Jersey group that's watching this, mind you.
Because we've partaken and participated.
We're both in that group, so. But we hear you. We agree 100%. And when it comes to those discussions, there are groups to joke around, and when it comes to when there's actual like really thick, heavy, like it's for real, it's not a joke, it's the like really heavy misogyny or whatever you want to call it. There's no place for any of that anywhere.
And then there's the line, right? There's somewhere between a joke and man, that's just crazy.
Right. Absolutely. But as far as like on the joking side of stuff, there's groups for that, and then there's groups for an actual and everybody knows what they are, and you have the groups that you're in, and you know what, I'm in the mood for joking today, so I'm gonna go in my group that jokes around and bust chops and everything else. Boom, I got that. But I'm in the mood. I want to find out. There's a topic. Hey, you know what? I want to find out about what everybody's thinking about this Falling Rock. A closure or whatever. So I'm going to go to a group that's actually going to talk about it, and it's not going to be 19 jokes that I got to sift through before I find one thing that
I know.
So stuff like that. But yeah, that's where I'm talking about. I mean, there's a lot of it out there, and there's plenty of different groups to join, no matter what your direction that you're looking for to achieve in joining the group is. But as far as for
Johnny, there's beer and boobs.
Beer and boobs, absolutely. Beer and boobs.
Who doesn't like those things?
All the best things begin with B.
Beer, boobs, and booze. Yeah, I'm with you.
And bacon. Don't forget bacon and bourbon.
Beer, boobs, and bacon. We might have asked this question last week, but I didn't. Obviously, if we didn't ask it, I'm asking it now. But if we did ask it last week, I obviously didn't ask it to Tom. You're speaking of bacon really quick, and you're talking about jokes. Tom, I got to ask you a question. I'm giving you a choice. Here we go. If you had a choice of eating bacon every day for the rest of your life, or being skinny forever, would you pick hickory smoked or applewood?
Oh, applewood without.
All right, absolutely.
See, he's with me on that one.
All right, there you go. You gotta love it. So, in any event,
I chose to be skinny.
No, you're harder to kidnap when you're not skinny.
Exactly. There's a lot of good pluses for that. I mean, and not just sizing. But
sizing, yes.
There you go. But anyway, how are you guys doing on your beers? Because I'm almost done.
I'm almost done, but I'm not sure I'm ready for my second yet.
Is that right? Why? Oh my God! Can I reach for the camera and feel your forehead? Are you okay?
Like I said, I'm trying to control myself tonight.
Trying. Oh, there you go. See, he finished it. He's good.
So I open my second now. I'm gonna jump to a third.
Well, no, but your second is as heavy as it is, so you can take your time and enjoy it.
Oh, like that matters.
Like anybody that watches or listens to this podcast thinks that's an actual true statement.
You see me destroy barley wines. It's just not.
I've witnessed it firsthand. Yes. To the point where I almost want to slide the glass away from him. Dave, have a sip of water. Water, Dave.
Yeah.
Imperial stouts we're going to talk about later, but no, it's a Tuesday.
There you go. No, we can wait on that.
Well, we got another discussion we wanted to bring up.
Yeah, let's do that. Go for it.
This was something that was Carrie brought this to my attention. She sent me a link to something. I think it was actually a Pinterest, but I had to do a little bit more research to dive into it.
Right.
There's a brewery in Croatia called Purveyor 8.
Mm-hmm.
And
Purveyor 8. Now,
what they did is they worked with a Croatian winery, Coral Wine. Coral Wine decided that it'd be a good idea to start aging their wines underwater.
Oh yeah.
Right. And they got this idea because I forget where it was, somewhere in the Mediterranean. I can't remember if it was a Greek or a Roman ship was, uncovered, and there's a bunch of amphoras still full of wine.
Right.
And they pulled it, they pulled it up. They tasted the wine. The wine was still, pretty spectacular. So
Still, or even more.
Well, who's around it?
Who's around to know it was?
So,
200-year-old bottle of wine. Who?
200? No. We're talking thousand. Maybe
two.
Oh,
I don't know.
It was down there for that long. Oh my God!
Yeah, it may have been 1,000 years.
There's
800.
As Colonel Sherman Potter once said, "There's not enough O's in smooth to describe that."
Right. So they decided it'd be a good idea to start aging their wine underwater. Apparently, it's got something to do with the pressure on the bottles. John and I talked about this, and I'm thinking, well, the bottle's pressurized. What does the exterior pressure have anything to do with anything else in there, right?
Correct.
But who knows? So then Pivovara 8 decided that they were going to start doing beer, and they made one. What did they call it? Kraken's Treasure.
Kraken's Treasure.
Adriatic Sea Edition. It is a porter, 7.8% porter.
Are there Krakens in the Adriatic Sea?
Where else would they be?
In Seattle, I thought, actually, now. Well, next year, anyway.
Maybe next year. 180 days in 20 feet of water.
180 days in 20 feet of water. So it wasn't really that deep in the Adriatic Sea.
Yeah.
Because the Adriatic Sea, I'm going to guess, I've never been down in it, but I'm going to guess it's a little deeper than 20 feet.
Not all of it, obviously.
Well, some of it, obviously. And you're sure. But in any event, well, what I said was atmospheric pressure obviously has to have a little bit to do with it because, whether it's a bottle or a can or whatever it is, atmospheric pressure is going to affect what's inside that particular vessel, whether it's below sea level or out in Denver, or in the Rockies, at a mile and a half high. It's got to have some effect on the particular liquid inside that vessel. So
I think the temperature of the water temp would have something to do with it as well.
Sure, well that too.
Yeah, that may have more to do with it because pressure, as we know, has a lot to do with barrel aging. Mm-hmm. Has a huge impact on it.
Sure.
It's why, my favorite rum is aged on top of a mountain because the pressure differences are so much greater up there that it's constantly going in and out of the wood.
In and out and in. Oh, no, sorry.
So, wow, a little bit of a Who reference there.
Little Who reference. But, somebody had to. But,
so we know it's with wood, but I'm thinking, you've got glass. How much can it do to glass?
Well, obviously they don't want the glass to break, which is why they're not putting it at the bottom of the Adriatic, correct?
Maybe because the pressure would crush it.
Right, exactly. But obviously it's going to, who knows? The only control would be put like another extra case, age it, at sea level or in their brewery or whatever, and then taste them to see if there is a difference.
Tom's point, keeping the temperature equivalent.
Keeping the temperature equivalent of whatever it is in 20 feet of water in the Adriatic, and then obviously the altitude and the pressure underwater be the difference. So, unless we can get in touch with what's the name of the
Pivovara 8.
Pivovara 8. What happened to Pivovara 7?
On 1 through 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, they sank to the bottom of the Adriatic.
Apparently, they're in the Adriatic.
Along with
But Pivovara 8. If anybody knows anybody from Pivovara 8, let's get this information to them to see if they are doing a control case in the brewery.
Well, we need to. Well, no, Marko Dusevic is the founder of Coral Wine, not Pivovara 8.
Not Pivovara 8, right? We'll have to reach out. To find out. I'm just curious if they are. Honestly, I'm not joking about this now. I'd love to reach out to them to find out if they actually are doing a control case or two or whatever, some control bottles at the same temperature to see if there is a difference. I would love to find that out if they're doing that. And if they are doing that, I want to know once it's done aging. I want to know what the outcome is.
Reading more into this, a South African brewery unleashed an ocean-aged beer the year prior.
You're going to say unleashed the Kraken.
Unleashed the Kraken. I wonder if that was intentional in the article. And back in 2016, Florida's Marker 48 Brewing put one of its double IPAs into a whiskey barrel, which it aged 48 feet underwater. That I get.
There you go.
Right, because in and out on the wood, and the wood probably bringing some salt in it, so you get a little salinity into the beer as well if it gets all the way through.
Right. Well, here's the other thing too. And a related story. I just heard that Bolero Snort is actually aging barrel an imperial stout that they brewed at the bottom of the Passaic River.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
To see how that turns out. But
And
I'm
that'll
trying to figure out how they're going to find it though.
Well, I think the best way to find it is attach some time release capsule to it.
Right.
Which after a certain amount of time,
I'm going with you. What?
It opens up and it unleashes a chicken parm. And then you just throw Scott into the water.
But he's not going to come up with the bottles. He's going to come up with the chicken parm.
That's true. That's not going to help, is it?
Exactly.
Huh. And the other thing is, if any of those bottles break down there, you're going to make, all those mutated catfish in the bottom of that river lactose intolerant.
This is true. And drunk.
And drunk.
And drunken, lactose intolerant, mutated catfish is not a good sight.
Drunken, lactose intolerant is no way to go through college, son.
There you go. Folks, we're kidding about that last part. Bolero Snort wants nothing to do with the Passaic River.
We're just
Hackensack River that they're putting in.
Yes. Or the Arthur Kill. Was it the Arthur Kill? Maybe the Arthur Kill.
Exactly. So anyway, we joke. Just kidding. We got actually a couple of comments here from Matt. I want to throw these up really quick. Matt did say, going back to prior to your Purveyor 8 story, he said, you can't get your panties in a bunch if you aren't wearing any. It's a very true statement. It's a very true statement.
And so that means no one anymore gets their knickers in a twist because no one wears knickers anymore.
No one wears knickers anymore, exactly. He also did say Adriatic Sea is behind the Italian peninsula, basically an arm of the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little geographical enlightenment for you, note for you. There you go. But he did say Brewdog actually brewed underwater. Yes, they did. They brewed underwater.
Brewdog has done a lot of crazy
Brewdog has done really weird stuff. I think the weirdest thing, Matt, and you can, I don't know if you saw this one, the weirdest thing that they did was they brewed in Boston Harbor on a ship while it was on a sailing ship. While it was sailing through the Boston Harbor, they brewed on the deck of the ship. Then they brought the wort back to Jamaica Plain, to the Sam Adams brewery, and they fermented it in a cool ship, in an open fermenter. And the yeast that they used were themselves. And the two of them, there was James Watt and was it Matt, I think is the other guy, and Jim Cook. The three of them got in the wort and fermented the beer.
Wow.
They used their own yeast and got in the beer. So.
Oh, no.
Oh,
yeah.
Too many jokes.
I kid not. This is what they did. That's what they did. But in any event. So, and apparently it was good. Yeah, I would not have tried it. And I have tried a lot of weird things, but I would. Yeah.
I've drank beer from Rogue.
I thought you were going to say from Tim Lincecum.
No, from Rogue, and what it was is one of their brewers who'd been there since day one has a full beard, and they figured so much of the yeast.
Oh, please! There's more yeast in that than in their
beer. Well, definitely more than in that hazelnut porter.
In the vials of yeast that they have in the in the walk-in.
So they just combed his beard out and propagated the yeast out of that.
Anything else fall out besides yeast?
A couple of people from the first tour.
For the very first tour, not that day.
No. Oh yeah, the very first tour.
The very first tour.
Had been missing.
Right. But gotta love it.
Yeah, they were living on all the stuff that got stuck in his beard.
Douglas Smith is still with us, and he said John Mayer, excuse me, beard yeast.
Yeah.
There you go. So anyway, Tom, what do you think about that Purveyor 8 talk as far as the aging and the Adriatic?
Well, I mean,
as opposed to the Mediterranean or the Black Sea. I mean, any of them.
Like we all have our oceans of choice, right?
Right.
Why not? I mean, try everything. You never know. You got Jefferson's Ocean, right?
Sure.
You got, you never know what the effects are going to happen. So why not try it?
This is true. You can wind up having something really spectacular happen, or at the very least, it's a really good marketing play.
But yeah,
6-1. Either way, you're out ahead.
Here we are talking about it.
Exactly. So, and they didn't expect us to do that. So, and Doug just wanted to say John is Rogue's head brewer. There you go. So, John Mayer. Is it Mayer or Meyer?
Don't know.
Maier. Maier.
I think that'd be Mayer,
Mayer. Meyer. Anyway, Mayer. Meyer. Anyway, one of them. Doesn't matter. John, the head brewer from Rogue, named John. That's who we're talking about. There you go. All right. You think it's time to pour your...
And he's just waiting for the world.
He's waiting for the world to change. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's a different John Mayer.
Different John Mayer?
Different John Mayer, yeah. He wants to run through the halls of his high school. In any event.
As long as he can make music, he can run anywhere he wants.
Exactly. Exactly. You think it's time to open your second beer now, Samurai?
Yeah, I think it's time.
I'm thinking it's time.
I'm going to pop my second as well, guys. I've got the Green Dragon Double IPA from Springfield Brewing Company.
Green Dragon Double IPA from where?
Springfield Brewing, right?
Springfield.
Springfield. Yeah, he drank that one before.
Well, I had the Ghost, the regular IPA.
The regular one. It's the Green Ghost. What's the difference on this one?
Well, not much. So the Green Ghost, the Green Ghost is 6.5%. Well, the Dragon's a little bit bigger at 7%. Although they've got a bigger version coming up that's going to be released this Friday called Green Goliath. So I'll let you know how that one turns out too.
So so after the Goliath, when do they get to the Kraken? What's the ABV going to be on the?
Yeah, I don't know. We got a Ghost, a Dragon, a Goliath. I'm not sure what the progression is after that.
I got you.
My belly.
There you go. Well, all bets are off after that.
Yeah.
Exactly. While Tom pours, Matt actually gave us a little insight here. Aging beer or wine. Wine underwater apparently provides a very consistent environment with steady temperature, minimal light, and constant pressure. Also, no air intrusion and gentle rocking of vessels keeps yeast circulating. There you go. That's very interesting.
I remember reading that somewhere.
Well,
right here.
What's that?
That Jefferson's Ocean, I mean, that whiskey is just exquisite.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that one.
That pours, guys.
Oh, that's a beautiful beer.
That's a beautiful pour.
Look at that. Very nice.
Not green at all.
It's not green at all. I thought you were pouring a St. Patty's Day beer. I thought you had it left over. I was like,
for Greene County, where we all preside.
There you go.
Got it.
See, we don't know that. But now we do.
Yeah, we do.
The things you learn. The more you know. I'm waiting for the thing to go across the screen.
But then you forget stuff.
It's very easy it's much easier to forget stuff than it is to learn stuff. So, Samurai, what are you drinking?
Well, I decided, I grabbed this thing off of a single shelf.
Right.
I got Weyerbacher's
thing off of a single shelf.
It's Weyerbacher's 21. It's their 21st anniversary beer. And looking at the side of it, today is its third birthday.
Today is that particular beer's third birthday.
I don't know if it can focus on this, but it says 6/22/18.
Oh, I believe you.
Wow.
So it's appropriate. It's got candles on it.
I actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you something that's very weird right here, and I'm not joking at all by saying this. This is the honest truth. I actually believe you and know that it is 6/22/18 because I'm going to tell you there's two reasons. One I'm going to tell you now. One I'll tell you when the show's done. The reason I tell you now is because I had a bottle, actually a couple bottles. I bought a 4-pack at the brewery when it came out, and the date on the bottle dating was 6/22/18, and this I do remember. And there's a specific reason that I remember it, but I'm not going to say it on the air. I will tell you after the show.
Okay. Well, this is a bourbon barrel aged stout brewed with cocoa and vanilla. Mm-hmm. For a 3-year-old beer that's probably not been handled all that well.
Maybe not. Depends.
It definitely didn't sit at the bottom of an ocean for the 3 years.
This is true.
Or sea. Mm-hmm. Or any arm of the Mediterranean.
Correct.
Man, it's got heat to it. You would expect the heat to have kind of died out. I know it's 11.9%.
Right. You would, yeah. The heat in 3 years should have been a little bit more. Although I'm gonna, you know what? I'll take that back because I do remember it being very hot because I did have one of the bottles when it was fresh.
Yeah.
And it was super hot. Yeah, it was.
Well, it's got some heat to it, so maybe it has died off. But yeah, there's the oak still evident. Not bad for a 3-year-old beer.
Yeah, there you go. I will be drinking the following in honor of our.
And he is so excited about this.
Top threes. I am really. I've been sitting on this for a little bit. I wanted to open it. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. This is why he's rushing the second beer.
Not so much, but we are 50 minutes into the show. I mean, it's about time to open the damn second beer.
Damn
normally we're on our third. So.
Yeah, normally we're on our third now.
Right. So it is Firestone Walker Old Manhattan. Old Manhattan.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Oh, not Old Man Hater?
Not Old Man Hater. Old Man, what?
The He Woman Man Haters Club?
The He Man Woman Haters Club. Yeah,
yeah, I get it.
But anyway.
I intentionally flipped it.
I know. Well, He Woman Man Haters Club. There you go.
What are we going to do now, Panky?
Anyway, this is a blend of, I believe, 4 or 5 different beers. At least 3, if not 4 of them are stouts. All barrel aged. It's Parabola. It's Sticky Monkey. Both amazing beers in and of themselves.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a few other beers, and then there's a couple of beers that were aged. One of them in oak barrels with cherries and orange bitters and orange peel.
Oh wow!
And then another one was aged in vermouth barrels. So basically, blending all these together, you got a really big American strong ale that's stout-esque, if you will. That has big bourbon notes, big whiskey notes. This is all from reading. I haven't had it yet. I didn't even open the cap yet, I'm telling you. Big bourbon notes, big whiskey notes, and old-fashioned notes, and Manhattan notes. Hence, Old Manhattan. So, there you go. That's what I was told from the cap. So,
and you know I love my Manhattans.
I know, and you know I love my old-fashions.
And I work in Manhattan.
And I work in old-fashioned?
Yeah, I was waiting.
So... I just popped the cap, and I'm going to drink this out of this glass.
Sunday brunch.
There you go.
Which is a cane beer. I'm actually drinking out of, because it's such a dark beer, I'm drinking out of my lovely Black It's Beautiful glass.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a lovely glass to drink out of.
Yeah, it's a cool glass. Cool movement, cool glass.
Very good. I'm going to take my cursory lager room check-in picture. Pardon me.
And we sit and wait while he goes ching, 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 ching,
done.
ching. You got a Vogue.
Cheers. See, now
Cheers.
you can see the cane logo better.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers. So there you go. Oh, wow. That's a nice nose. That's pretty. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that is really good. That is really good. That's really tasty. I'm getting stouts. I can actually taste. Yeah, I can actually taste the Parabola and the Sticky Monkey in this. I'm getting a lot of El Dorado though, aged in that the barrel with the cherries and the orange bitters. I'm definitely getting that. Yeah, I could definitely. That's a good name. I mean, it's a spot on blend. But I mean, we're talking about a brewery that, blends very well.
You think?
Has amazing beers and knows how to blend every single one of them together to make other amazing beers. Oh, that's really good. Really tasty. All right. Well, on that note, you want to jump to the top threes?
I think it's relevant.
I think it's very relevant. I do. Folks, our top threes tonight. I know we did top 3 stouts last week.
We did.
But on that note, we did top 3 stouts with Steve.
But we did it without, made sure that there were non-barrel aged stouts.
Non-barrel aged stouts.
And the reason we did that is because we're running out of ideas for top 3, so that way we still preserved our top.
Let's go back. Let's backtrack a little bit. We were running out of ideas for top 3s. We have a boatload more now. So we brainstormed and have a boatload more now. So at the time we were but with Tom coming on tonight and Mr. whiskey bourbon himself, we figured this would be a perfect time to just segue right into top 3 favorite barrel aged stouts. There you go. So top 3 favorite barrel aged stouts. That is what tonight's list.
Like we're wont to do, we put a few restrictors on this. Well, we framed it. We framed it
a bit. It's a little, a little framed.
Well, before we get to that portion, let's see what Matt's drinking.
Yes. Let's see what Matt's drinking. Matt is having a Trim Tab Brewing New Zealand style Pilsner.
Oh, very nice.
See, I had a New Zealand Pilsner. It wasn't style. It was a New Zealand Pilsner.
It was a Pilsner brewed in New Zealand, but it was a German style Pilsner brewed in New Zealand.
Yes.
So what would make this even better is if Trim Tab Brewing was actually in Germany and they brewed a New Zealand style or Pilsner.
That'd be awesome.
Matt, let us know how that is. I'm really curious.
Yep.
I have not had anything from Trim Tab.
Neither have I.
But
and let us know. Let us know more about that brewery.
Let us know more about it. Yep.
So, not the restrictions, but the framing we put on.
Back out. Top 3 favorite barrel aged stouts. Go ahead.
The framing we put on this was we would do one that was more of a national, well-known. Kind of like your BCBS or whatever. Yep. Then a local, something local, and then something a little more out there, maybe harder to find, maybe even a one-off.
Yep.
So
that is correct.
So, and we actually, for a change, took this restriction, actually told our guests what it was going to be.
Which we never really do.
We never really do that. Because we will restrict ourselves, but Tom's now a member of the family.
Yes, once you're, once you're the, what would you say, you're the Alec Baldwin of the Lager Room guys?
Yeah.
Hey.
He's been on SNL so many times.
Yeah, I know. I get the reference. It's great. That's funny, then.
So we did let Tom know what that framework was. So, Tom, how'd you do with it?
Well, you know what? So I've kind of altered it slightly, but not much. So I don't think you could talk about this style without talking about Bourbon County, as much as it pains me to say it.
Right.
But I think a lot of us of a certain age, I mean, that was our first taste of a barrel-aged beer, right?
Sure.
So
Kentucky was actually my first.
Pre-2011 Bourbon County, when it was actually a good beer before Anheuser-Busch made it a marketing ploy. Because let's be honest, that's what Anheuser-Busch is. They're basically a marketing firm that brews beer. But that original beer really brought. I mean, a lot of breweries wouldn't be making that style if it wasn't for that particular beer.
Sure.
I don't think you could talk about the style without bringing it up and giving it, the reverence it deserves.
Right.
Having said that, I don't buy it anymore because AB.
Same.
But anyway, Tom, don't be controversial. You tick people off and they say nasty things about you. So the other star that was a local. So here's my local. My local is Mother's Materfamilias. Now, Mother's is a local brewery. Now, Materfamilias, why name a beer Materfamilias? Well, here's the deal. Materfamilias is the beer formerly known as milk. So the original framework on this beer, though, is they refer to it as Mother's Imperial Liquid Fantasy.
Mother's Imperial Liquid Fantasy.
They as you might suspect, they got some flack for the name. So a couple years ago, they changed it to Materfamilias. Now I've joked in a couple videos that she's no longer milk. She's no longer out pouring around. She's now the head of the household.
Yeah.
But so the thing about the Materfamilias is it's a little bit different every year. It's a multi-barrel imperial stout. So what they do is they age it in several different barrels and then blend it together. But what's different is those barrels seem to change from year to year. One year they even tried a tequila barrel just to see what it would do.
Oh boy.
Typically, rum and brandy and bourbon are in the mix, but last year they added a rye barrel, which again took it in a different direction. So that's what I like about it, because it's just a little bit different every year. Now my one-off is it's not exactly a one-off, but it is a hard to find.
Before you move on, we've
before
got
you-
a comment that's got to come up here.
Before you move on, you're talking about mothers and you're talking about the milk and you're talking about that beer. Matt said, and the best line of the show so far, that's a no panties beer. And that is for sure.
Well, that's a panty dropper.
Panty dropper. There you
go. So yeah, my third one here is it's not a one-off, but it is a harder to find beer from a smaller brewery called Public House Brewing.
Okay.
They have 2 locations, one in St. James, Missouri, one in Rolla, Missouri. But this one has become my absolute favorite. I look for it every year. It's called Anthony's Pacification Barrel Aged Russian Imperial Stout. It typically comes in at about 10%, and this one is just amazing. It gives you all those. This is a bourbon barrel stout for people that love bourbon. If you don't want to feel like bourbon barrel, this is not the beer for you because you can feel every part of that barrel. It is absolutely gorgeous.
That's a pretty beer.
That can one more time,
including the metal rings.
You can, yeah.
yeah.
Do you? So every single stave, you get something out of.
Yes.
Do you now? Obviously, you have the can there. Do you have more than one of those cans there, Tom?
I only have one on the bar, but yeah, I have a couple cans in the fridge.
Because John's going to be doing a road trip in 2022.
Yeah, no, man. This is one of those. One of these, it's one of those small breweries that it's it's one of those little engines that could kind of breweries.
Right.
Just doing some of the best beer on the planet, in my opinion. They're just incredible, everything they do. And for a while there, when they started out basically doing, session S type beers, just everything right true to style, and they were perfect. But a few years ago, they just started going out of the box, and now they're just hitting home runs with beers like this.
Very nice, very nice. It's great to hear that. And I can't, I'm hoping that when I do see you on that particular trip, you do have a can left. So we'll leave it at that, or at least direct me in the direction that I can get one of my own. That's all I'm saying.
Certainly do that.
Either or. So anyway, Samurai, you want to go next? Do you want me to?
No, I'll go next.
Go for it.
You already know if you know mine.
I know yours.
First one, going with the more national. And I don't have bottles. I don't have show and tell, even though.
Neither do I, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. Though Carrie bought one of these last night and made sure she took it home with her because she knew I'd probably drink it tonight otherwise.
Right.
Protected that bottle. And if you look behind me, you see the Brooklyn Brewery logo back there.
Absolutely. Yep.
Black Ops is one of my favorite barrel-aged stouts out there. It's, we were talking, and last week, what was one of my favorite stouts?
Mm-hmm.
Black chocolate stout.
Black chocolate stout, right? Exactly.
Take it barrel aged. You
got Black Ops.
You get Black Ops.
Hey, Matt. You've had a Black Ops recently, didn't you? Let us know.
I think that was probably back in at Johnny's place.
That was wasn't that long ago, wasn't Matt? But anyway, continue, Dave.
But Black Ops is just that is if you really want to sit and just get yourself wrecked, because I think again, black chocolate stout I think is understated in its ABV. Mm-hmm. I'm positive Black Ops.
Black Ops is definitely understated in its ABV. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
That thing will wreck you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go in the same order that Tom did here. My local, and I hope there's some left tomorrow because I'll be down the shore. That's a Jersey term for going to the beach.
Down the shore.
Down the shore.
Oh, wait, hold on. Matt just said as far as Black Ops go, he goes, it was okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Right.
It's fine. And I hope Carton has some of this left. But Sunday is one of my favorite local barrel-aged beers. It's based off of a beer called Cosmonaut. So Cosmonaut is a milk stout, and they dry hop this with astronaut ice cream, which is a lot of fun within itself.
Dry hop with freeze-dried ice cream.
With freeze-dried ice cream. Mm-hmm. So they put that in there, and then they take it and they put it in brandy barrels, and they age it on wet walnuts and maraschino cherries. And it got
and the result is
Sunday, of course.
Sunday. Right.
So you got and it's luscious. It is fantastic. You taste the cherries, you taste the walnuts, you taste the chocolate, the vanilla, the strawberry. It's a fantastic beer. And last Wednesday they re-released it in cans.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully there's still cans left when I'm down there tomorrow.
I believe there is some, and if I didn't have to get ready for the sports podcast tomorrow night, I might actually meet you, but I won't be able to. So,
yes, because you know what that'll turn into.
I won't be able to do the sports podcast.
So the harder to find, one-off, whatever. It's not so much that it's hard to find. It's just that when it hits the shelves, it either disappears or languishes because of the price point on it. Because a lot of people will jack up the price point.
Sure.
And this is Eclipse's 50/50 series.
Such a good beer.
And it is, I think the Heaven Hill ones have been some of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But they've done it in so many different bourbon barrels, whiskey barrels, so many different iterations of this beer. And I'm not certain I've ever had a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
Or anything less than spectacular. Let's put it that way.
Less than spectacular.
And from what I understand,
you've had some that were much more than spectacular.
Yes. And my brother goes to Lake Tahoe on a regular basis, and he's been in their tap room, and he says they regularly have about 10 of these on tap at a time.
It's insane. It really is.
And so what okay, so I'm going to have 3 flights every 50/50 that you've got.
Right.
It's just, and then you just like, and I'm going to sleep right over there in the corner.
And I'll be over there when you need me. Just call me over there. Beautiful. There you go.
So there's my list.
There's your list. All right, my list. Here we go. I'll go in the same order as well. All right. On the note of national, if you will, and I got to put a little caveat in there. It's national, but it's not necessarily national. You'll hear in a minute. Going off of Tom before, Bourbon County Stout, absolutely agree with you. It's one of the first bourbon barrel stouts any of us ever had, so forth and so on.
The first one was the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Stout, correct?
Yeah, but I actually.
But it was not nearly as good.
It was not. It's good, but once you tasted Goose Island's Bourbon County, Bourbon County brand stout, get it right. Once you tasted that, it was like Kentucky what? Yeah. So no offense to them.
You started it. They did it better.
They did. So in any event, Bourbon County Stout, but I'm going to take it to another level. As far as my favorite or the best one, the one that makes my favorite is the Proprietors. The Proprietors Bourbon County brand stout. It's almost, it's not quite the distance, or you're right, the difference, I should say, between the Kentucky one and Bourbon County as it is from Bourbon County to Proprietors. Proprietors is just insane. If you ever have had it, or if you haven't, if you ever get the chance to have it. It's insane. It really is.
That could have qualified for the harder to find category.
It could have qualified for the harder to find, but
because of the price point when it comes out.
Yeah, but it is released now. It's not released nationally. You have to actually win. The only way to get Proprietors is unless you live in Chicago and know people at Goose Island. The only way to get it is to win a bid.
So again, it could have fit into that hard to find.
It could have fit in a hard to find, but I used it as I didn't want to put a Bourbon County on a hard to find list. I really didn't, So I put it on that one. Meaning my Bourbon County for me, it's a national level, so it's my national one. But the Proprietors is just so much better, so that's why I went there. And also the fact that Tom did Bourbon County, so I didn't want to do the same one. So in any event.
I'm going to have another Eckler.
And there you go. Is that your second, third, fourth, or fifth? Fourth. There you go. All right.
I'm not ashamed.
He's not ashamed, and he's working them. He's working them good, folks. He's working them good. He's working them for you. All right. Enjoy it. So that's my national level. My local level. There's a lot. It's really, I got to be honest with you, it's really hard to pick. There's a lot of breweries in New Jersey putting out really good liquid, and there's a bunch putting out really good bourbon barrel aged stouts too. But the one I'm going to go with here is going to be, and this is the reason I use the cane glass, and it's not Sunday brunch.
Nope.
All right. It's if you've ever had their, and they've only released it seldomly actually, Christian Patrick.
Oh God, yes.
All right, Christian Patrick is an imperial stout. that they've released. 12%. Actually,
Named after it's named after one of their brewers' kids that was born.
Yes.
As they were starting to brew that one.
Yep. And I believe just regular Christian Patrick is 10.9 or something like it's in the 10s. But the rye barrel aged Christian Patrick is friggin' insane.
Never had that.
Or I should say was friggin' insane. Yeah, it's
that's John's way of saying, Dave, I've got none left. You're not getting it.
I don't. Yeah. So it's it was really good, and that's what's 12%. The rye barrel aged Christian Patrick from Kane is 12%. And I would be remiss to say, and here's where I throw an extra beer in there. I would be remiss to say, on a local level that isn't brewed anymore and no one's ever going to find it, and by no means, and I don't mean to say this, but I got to say Wooden Beanie.
Hi, Brian. Yeah, I knew that's where you're going.
Yeah. Wooden Beanie from it's not necessarily a stout. So if we want to call it regular Wooden Beanie, I'm saying, isn't necessarily a stout. So we'd have to go with Snow Monster on that level. It's aged in Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans. It's just it's a crazy stout. And Monster Mash was on my list last week for favorite stouts, which is why I'm mentioning that now in the locals. But my favorite local is, at this point, I'd have to go with the rye barrel aged Christian Patrick from Kane. My hard to find. And this is why I'm wearing the Bell's shirt.
I figured.
I don't know if you ever had it. Black Note Stout.
Not had that one.
Black Note Stout is amazing. It really is. It's Kalamazoo. It's actually not Kalamazoo. It's Expedition Stout, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's Expedition Stout.
Oh, and I like Expedition better than Kalamazoo.
It's Expedition Stout, and they barrel age it for many months. And they release it, and it's a late fall release, as most good barrel aged stouts are, right? It's just a crazy, insane. I've only had it maybe like 2 or 3 times, but it is by far, as far as the hard to find ones, it's definitely tops the list. And I have to throw a tie in there. Sorry, Dave, I got to throw a tie in there, and it's literally it's right together, and they're both Michigan breweries. Bell's and this other one I'm going to mention. Black Note Stout, I love it. It's so delicious. But Dragon's Milk, triple mash barrel aged.
Wow.
Dragon's Milk triple mash barrel aged. It's 17% from New Holland Brewing. All right. And I've only had it
17?
once. 17%. I've only had it once, and it was only a brewery release. So I only had it at the New Holland location in Grand Rapids.
Wow.
So... But that beer was, I sat there at the bar. They would only give you 2 ounces at a time.
Oh my God!
I sat at the bar and had 5 of them.
I'll say one.
I finished it, ordered another, and then another, and so forth.
One of the ones we missed, and I don't. It just came. It came to me in a dream. It just came to me. The Abyss.
Sure. You know what? We talked about this before. We could literally, without lying, probably name 300 barrel-aged stouts in our top 3. Between the 3 of us, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because there's so many really, really, really well-done ones out there. But, yeah, the Abyss is an amazing beer.
KBS. CBS.
Absolutely. And we're gonna start posting these top 3 lists on our Facebook and our Instagram.
We are?
Yeah, we are. We're going to start doing it. And
I need to finish. I need to finish catching up on that list, don't I?
We need to. We're going to start posting these, and we need to. We want to have you write in, yeah. Comment on them, send us an email.
We've got 2 write-ins right now.
We've got a bunch. I'm going to get on them in a second, but I'm going to finish this plug, if you will. Thank you. Write us in. Go to our website. www.lagerroom.com and write us in an email, get on the mailing list, but write us in an email, or just message us on Facebook, or message us on Instagram or Twitter for that matter. And we want to know your top 3s on any of these lists, tonight's and any others. And as far as this particular one goes, it's your national one, your local one, and a hard to find one. That's what we need for the top 3 favorite barrel aged stouts. Let's get on these right here. Whatchamacallit? Matt gave us his local is Carton Shipwreck Porter.
Not a stout.
Not a
but
stout.
Okay.
But okay. And I concur. Shipwreck Porter is phenomenal.
Shipwreck Porter is aged in shipwreck barrels.
Shipwreck spiced rum barrels. It's their honey porter. It's Carton's honey porter aged in shipwreck spiced rum barrels.
Now, shipwreck rums, they make a vanilla rum. Mm-hmm. And if you take that vanilla rum and you put a little floater on top of the porter, that is absolute heaven.
It is. It's really, really good.
And shipwreck rum vanilla is just pick that up, have it.
Yeah, just have at it. Have at it.
Yeah.
Have at it. His national one, Avery Tweak.
And Matt knows about tweaking.
And
twerking, not twerking.
I don't want to know. Matt doesn't know about twerking. Leave him alone. But Avery Tweak, and I concur. Avery Tweak is amazing. And I'll give you a quick aside on Avery Tweak. There was like 8 or 10 of us. We did a Facebook back in the beginning of the pandemic last year, 2020. We did a night where it was, like I said, 8 or 10 of us just drinking. We started at like 7 o'clock. We ended at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
By 10 or 11 o'clock, we were so out of it. And we were all, I was asking Jess, just, I don't care. Grab anything out of the fridge. I'm drinking an 18% or 17 or 18% Tweak at 11:30 after all of this. I'm like, holy shit, what am I drinking here? We didn't even realize what we were drinking at that point.
No.
Avery Tweak is just so good. It's insane. And his hard to find 2014 Bourbon County brand stout vanilla rye. Though at this point, it's falling off and price is stupid. Yes, I agree.
And Matt did correct with Shipwreck. He has a correction.
He did, hold on.
2 down.
2 down. Here we go. I cheated with Shipwreck. Straight stout would be rye barrel aged. A night to end all dawns. Folks, that is ANTED is the acronym for A Night to End All Dawns, and that is, again, from Kane as well. Yeah, the rye barrel aged ANTED is very tasty. And, yeah, one of the things, Kane uses rye barrels amazingly, and hence my rye barrel aged Christian Patrick. And then we have Douglas Smith, barrel aged Doris Destroyer from Hop and Frog Brewery.
I have to agree with him. That is absolutely underrated. Doris will destroy you.
Doris the Destroyer from Hop and Frog is absolutely underrated. Is a very, very, very good beer.
It's fantastic. Boris, I was a huge fan of Boris, and when Doris came out, I drank the whole bottle myself. When I woke up, I remember thinking, wow, that was a great beer.
Mm-hmm. And Matt also did throw this in there, too. He said he had Dragon's Milk triple mash at Paragon. Somehow it was smoother than regular Dragon's Milk, and it was 17%. And I agree with you. It's totally, because I had a regular full pour Dragon's Milk sitting next to me at the brewery when I had the triple mash, and it was so much smoother than regular Dragon's Milk. That's why I had 5 of them. I did not drive. Jess drove after that, but
good thing.
She after my second one, she says, "Yeah, I'm driving," so she stopped drinking. But the triple mash was insane, but I love Black Note Stout, so that's why they tied for that. So
gotcha.
Anyway, and then Doug Smith actually threw in national.
So his national one was Lagunitas Willetized.
Lagunitas Willetized, Doris, and local is Negation Adriat Theory.
Is it supposed to be an Adriat or a Draught?
A Draught. Maybe.
Negation. I'm not familiar with Negation Brewing.
I've never.
So what is local for you, Douglas? Can I call you Doug? What is local for you? Where is Negation?
Let us know, Doug, where you are. Where is Negation? Where is local? And Matt, while we're waiting for Doug's response, Matt just said he just got a can of extended barrel aged Doris. Can't wait to crack it. Matt, maybe I just want to throw this out there.
Open day Black Ops for you.
You might want to crack this on Friday night. Just throwing it out there. You might want to crack this on Friday night. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, Doug Smith says DC area, and Matt said it's Adriat Theory Brewing.
Oh, got it. Okay, so the beer is
Negation from Adriat Theory.
Adroit Theory.
Adroit Theory.
Adroit. Even though it's French, you do pronounce the T.
Adroit Theory Brewing Company. There you go. So, and beer is Negation. So there you go. Perfect.
Very nice.
And there you have it. So that was a really good top 3 tonight.
Yes.
There's a lot of discussion on that. That was really good. And
some good beers.
And all the beers that were mentioned there, not Not one bad one in the bunch. Nothing less than spectacular in the bunch. Seriously. He says it's a big Russian Imperial Stout.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You brew a really, really tasty, big, nice, delicious Russian Imperial Stout and throw it in a really good bourbon barrel for a long time, and you're not going to go wrong.
Nope.
Because a lot of times the Russian Imperial is going to be a little sweet, and that barrel really helps round it out.
Oh yeah, rounds it
absolutely.
out. Yep, it gives it a different sweetness from the bourbon too, and rounds out, and the oak rounds out the sweetness in the. Absolutely.
Yeah, drier sweetness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
right?
No, absolutely, definitely.
Well, take what's the I can't remember what's the base beer for KBS. I forget the base beer, but that is a fantastic beer.
I forget the base beer too,
but it's a little on the sweet side.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very sweet. Yeah.
One of the closing events that you had at 381, you had an older version. You had a nice aged version of that there.
Oh right, yeah. I did. What the hell was it? Give me a minute. I'll think of it. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Give me a moment. I go back and check my notes, but I really don't want to.
No.
So, it's 2 years ago in notes. I have to look, but in any event, Russian Imperial Stouts. And then if you go a step beyond that and you age a bunch of it in bourbon barrels, and then some in rye barrels, and then throw a couple in port barrels, and then blend them together.
Oh yeah, there you
go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good night, Grandma. You know. So I don't know where that came from, but why not? Let's make it. Yeah, let's throw that.
Is that going to be your thing?
Let's throw that. Yeah, exactly. Let's throw that in with nose feel. Floor.
Good night, Grandma.
What was it? Not fluidity. What's the other one you said?
Plurality.
Plurality. There you go.
Somebody got a word of the day calendar.
Exactly. But I'm still enjoying the hell out of this. Did you finish yours yet?
Oh, mine's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done, but I got to stop at 2 tonight, guys.
Yeah, no. I am as
on
well.
This show.
Matt just said he had a port barrel aged Black Tuesday recently. Oh, Black Tuesday is a great beer. Black Tuesday is a very, 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 very good beer. I have not had the port barrel aged version of it, but Gray Monday's delicious. Black Tuesday's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, such a good beer, folks. That's from the brewery.
Bruery.
All right. In California.
Mr. Brew himself.
Mr. Brew himself. The Rue, actually. The family Rue.
Rue, right.
R-U-E.
Rue.
Mm-hmm. Hence the B-R-U-E.
And many of us have Rue to the morning after drinking a lot of his beers.
This is true. Very true. Anyway. So, well, on that note, I mean, do you want to, should we wrap it up? I mean, is there anything else to talk about? I don't want to keep Tom, because he does have to get up much earlier than either you or I tomorrow.
I don't know. I have no idea how early we're leaving for the shore well, it's a Wednesday, so we shouldn't have crowds to beat.
There's no crowds to beat. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I'll just throw this up there really quick. Douglas Smith has been with us the whole time. He said, having a Smug Thunder Cluck Baltic
Where
Porter
did you get a Smug from, Douglas?
Smug Thunder Cluck Baltic Porter.
So Smug was, when I lived in Rhode Island, Smug is 4 blocks from where I am. Thunder Cluck is, oh man, that Baltic Porter, that was a fantastic beer.
Another one of my favorite styles, Baltic Porter. Such a underbrewed style. It's so good. Absolutely.
And I will be in Rhode Island in a couple of weeks. Well, a week and a half.
Doug says he's from Rhode Island. There you go. And
there we go. That's how I know it's Smug.
I'll be in Rhode Island in August. And
I'll be there. Thanks, Doug.
And it's a good show.
But in a week and a half, I will be there.
And
I seriously need to stop in the Smug, and I really need to restock my Nemesis.
Yes, you do. Well, you got your Nemesis from Jersey. You got your boat beer back, so you're.
Yes, I got my boat beer back. My Nemesis was my replacement for it, but Nemesis is a different hop profile, and I'm missing Nemesis as much as I love my boat. I'm missing Nemesis. That is such a great hoppy. That session. I think they call it session IPA.
It's a session IPA. Yeah.
You know, I still have 2 of those maple syrup beers.
You have.
Fevers.
Yeah, well, I would love to. I would love to taste one of them with you. So I'm not even asking for the whole thing, just half of a pour.
Actually, what I may do is I don't know if it'll last that long, but if I give it if I give it to you and you take it out to share it with Tom.
There you go. We could do that. Yeah, hold on to
Right.
it, and I'll take it out to share with Tom. There you go. That'll work. And while you're up there, too, you're going to see Rob before I do, so find out why the hell he's not coming on the show.
Oh, well, because Rob's Rob.
I know.
he has no time. He's got a baby.
Yeah.
You know,
we all have
probably
babies
probably a
sometimes.
toddler by now. But
That's true, yeah.
but Tom, this beer we're talking about, it's like taking Mrs. Buttersworth, upending it right into your face.
But
it'll get you drunk.
something just fell. I don't know what the hell that was.
You knocked something over.
I don't know what the hell it was. That was weird. Anyway, or was that somewhere else? I don't even think it was here. Nothing fell.
Wasn't here.
Taking a really good winter lager and a can of Mrs. Buttersworth. Thank you. And pouring them at the same time into your mouth. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, the problem was me putting my hands above my head like Dave did. That was the problem. It just threw me off completely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's the blood. The blood just
It just screwed me up.
Go where
That's
it's supposed
fine.
to go,
It
and
didn't work right. Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
his language processing center of the brain.
Well,
just
it's in my
short-circuited.
hands, right? Because
He's part Italian, so
I'm Italian.
with his hands up
I'm
here.
half Italian up here. It just screwed everything up, So anyway, so on that note, we'll wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night at 6:30. And for those of you that just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Tom, thank you so much for coming on again.
Thanks, guys.
It's awesome. I try to log on, when you're, especially like Friday nights when you're
A little crazier than usual.
And when you're a little crazier than usual, and I got on, we've Tom and I have gone back and forth a couple times on his show on Friday nights. So
Yeah.
But I try to do that. But thanks again. Thanks for being our Alec Baldwin.
Yep. You will always be our Alec Baldwin.
Thank you. There you go. And also let us know about that brewery, the gentleman that's going from Show Me up to the other one. Yeah. Keep us posted on that. And we'll talk to you soon. Go, folks. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Drink a lot of beer, drink responsibly, and we will talk to you soon. Take care, folks.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Bye, folks.